right, looks like it's 8 o'clock, so I'm going to start this PowerPoint presentation. And my name is Heidi, and I'll just introduce myself a little bit about my experience with Spooky, how I got going with the Spooky2, and a little bit about why I'm doing this presentation. So I have been in the healing work practice for 25 plus years, I guess. And my journey started there with my health. You know, I had like a trauma health crisis, like so many people do, and dug into healing work and tried to find healing for myself and healing with practitioners and just learned a lot. And a few years ago, I was introduced to a type of Rife machine. I didn't do a lot of work with it at that time. It's probably about 10 years ago, I suppose. It was actually called the coil machine. But it gave off frequencies and dabbled with it a little bit, but I didn't understand it or do a lot of work with it. And then I suppose about 6 years ago, maybe, I started looking into it a little bit more and doing a little bit more research on it. And then I just kind of left it again. And then, let's see, I got my equipment about 3 years ago. So must have been just about 3.5 years ago, I started looking again. And the Spooky2 equipment popped up when I was doing a search, and I was really impressed with what they had to offer, and very impressed with the company in general, the people, the products, and just their overall energy of the whole thing. So that's when I started purchasing my Spooky2 equipment. And I was a little bit overwhelmed at first. I am not a technology person. I'm a energy healing person. And so it was a little bit much for me at first, I thought, but then I just watched some of the videos and I got out my instruction book and I just started putting things together and started tinkering with it. And there you go. I just keep learning. So I just encourage you, if you haven't purchased yet, or if you're nearly purchased, I'm going to make this how to do Spooky2 remote mode as simple as I can, because I would like people to understand that if I can do it, you can do it. And just try to put the steps together very simply for you. So, and the reason I'm doing this presentation is just to help people not to feel overwhelmed, for one thing, and just to give you some simple information. I've been down that road myself of healing, coming out of a very hard health crisis myself. And so I like to help others to heal. And now I'm really interested in all this frequency work. So I'm doing this presentation to help people. All right, so how to use Spooky2 remote mode. We will now get going with this. Okay, so now I kind of laid out just all the things that you need to run remote. So this is the generator X, and this is the XM generator. The generator X is the silver one. The XM is the one with the blue on it. And now it's called Gen X Pro, the new one, the new upgraded one. Just, you know, a little bit better. So it's their next quality of a generator. So you're going to need one of those, one or the other. Now the Gen X has 2 generators on it, the Gen X Pro, I should say, and then the XM has 1 generator on it. You're going to need a boost, and the boost is the thing that you plug into the generator that the remote plugs into that. And then it comes with a Spooky2 quick guide, which has really good instructions in it. And then you need the USB cable, and then you need your power cable. And if you do have both XM and Generator X Pro, make sure you use the right power cable, because they have different power cables for each of them. There's your sticky paper tape again, or your skin tape, and then I just had this nail sample on this little piece of paper here. And then these are, the nail sample, I'm sorry, is the DNA sample. These are 2 options that if you start collecting more generators like I did, you know, you just start collecting more. It's just the way it is. You just get excited about it and you start collecting more as you can do it. This is a 10-port USB 3-hub, and this is right off from the website. I took that information right off from the website. So then you can plug all of your generators into here. And then this is the 5-volt power supply, so you can plug 4 generators into here. So you're saving your plug-in space with this. All right. I'm going to go to the next. I'll check the question here again in case it's something relevant to what we're talking about here. Okay, what's a good program to help? Okay, I talked about that autism one a little bit. How can it benefit if it's not in the same room as I am? Once I leave the room, don't I stop receiving frequencies or benefits? No, you don't. I know that's really hard to understand or really hard to believe, but I'm telling you, because like I said, I do long distance energy work, and at first it was all new to me as well until I experienced it myself. And energy is just energy. I mean, if you just think about, your cell phone, you're talking to someone across the world with your cell phone, and it's not like you have a wire connected to each other or anything. So energy travels just through the universal air. I don't know how to explain it that we have, but it's really good to just experience it and do some research on it, and just try to, if you read some of these studies that you can find online, it just helps you start to think that it's possible. And then you experience it. And then whenever you experience something, then you know it's possible. I remember the first time I went to a Qigong healer, and, he didn't touch me at all, and I could feel the energy moving through my body. So energy is amazing. Frequencies are amazing. Think about how music affects you, and and you're in the room and you're not like hooked up to the music, but you're in the room or you hear the music, and just think about how that affects you. All right, I have a couple of clients, husband and wife, who are extremely hypersensitive to chemicals. So am I, even fragrant flowers. I can't think of a protocol to use for them. Can you help? Okay, yes. I'm going to talk about the terrain a little bit more when I demonstrate how to load up the terrain. Because I really think that going through that helped me a lot with my sensitivities. I've done years and years and years of detoxing and energy work and herbal work, and you name it, I've done it. It really did help me to run the terrain, and I honestly run the terrain almost all the time on myself now. It's like I don't detoxify by myself, and I think people like this that are hypersensitive, they don't detoxify well at all, and so they get really sensitive to everything. And so I had to build up to being able to run it. The first time I ran it, I had to stop a little bit, and then I got through it, and I waited maybe a month or something, but eventually I started running it. I'm going to run it 2 times through, and then I'm going to take a break, and now I run it all the time. And if I don't run it all the time, I do give it a break sometimes, but if I don't run it most of the time, I have more allergy symptoms and more, chemical sensitivity and such like that. So I think that is a good way to start. You just have to be careful and be mindful when you're doing it. Okay. It's helped me a lot, by the way. I'm going to go back to PowerPoint. Okay. Oh, and then the computer. The last picture is the computer. And then I have the software loaded up on the picture just to give you a visual. There we go. Okay. I did a little video just connecting everything up so that you can just see, the items that you need and how to connect them up. And I'm just going to play that for you now. Now I'm going to demonstrate for you how we can easily connect the hardware and load up your software so you can do some Spooky2 remote healing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to connect the power. Now the Gen X and the XM have different powers, so make sure that you use the correct power. We're going to connect the XM power cord first. There's a connection in the back. We just plug in and connect to your power. On the Gen X, we're going to connect the Gen X power. On the side, plug in, and connect to power. The next thing we're going to do is connect the USBs. So we're going to connect the USB of the XM, which is in the back again. And connect that up to the computer. And we're going to connect to the Gen X, which is on the side here. Connect up to the computer. All right, now we've got power connected and we've got it connected up to the computer. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to connect the Spooky2 boost. Now the Spooky2 boost will get connected to the out 1 and out 2. So you just simply slide it on and then you're going to twist the connector on until it clicks on. On the Gen X, there are 2 generators in the Gen X, so you can choose if you want to do G2 or G1. For right now, I'm going to hook it on G2. So once again, I just slid it on, twist the connector, twist it on. All right, now we're going to connect on the remotes. So the remote is going to get connected to the BN port. And you can see it says BN. So once again, just putting it on and then twist. And on the GX, it's the same way. Connect it onto the BN. And twist the connector. So now we've got the XM and the Gen X connected to power, connected to the computer. We've got the boost connected, and then we've got the remotes connected. I'm going to put my DNA nail sample, which is in the piece of circled sticker tape that comes with your generator. And I'm going to put that in the XM for right now. I'm demonstrating on both. You'll probably just be using one of these types of generators, but I'm just demonstrating on both. So you just push down on the remote and you can just slide it in the center there. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to turn on the generators. So once again, on the back side of the XM, you just flip it on. And the lights are going to come on here. And then on the Gen X, it's right on the top. And you just push the power button, turn it on. And then it's going to show you have the generator 1 and the generator 2 available. So now everything is plugged in, your remotes are on, and I did put a DNA sample in, and now I'm going to load the software. So now the software will load, and then you will be able to choose your programs that you would like to run on your remote healing. And you'll be able to choose, I have 2 of them hooked up, so I will be able to choose between one or running something on both of them at this time. All right, now the fun begins. You're now ready to use your Spooky2 remote for healing. I'm going to go through steps to run a detox, a sample of symptom-based programs, and a healing chakra balance. I suggest that when you start, you get a notebook and make some notes, like note, these are the things I want to work on. These are the symptoms that I'm having that I would like help with, and date it. So when you start working with things, you can make notes of like, okay, I started terrain, this is how the terrain detox went for me. If I had any problems during it, you can, and I'll show you that as I demonstrate on here how to run the terrain, but you can watch the different days that it goes through. And if you're having a particularly harder time, like headaches or fatigue or something during a particular time, you can see what it's working on at that time. Mine was always the heavy metals. I've done tons of heavy metal detox, orally and, and all that, but it really was hard for me running this terrain to get through that heavy metal for the first, probably, I'm going to say 4 times. And, so you can keep track of things in your notebook, and then you're going to be able to look back on that. 3 months from now, you're not going to remember. Well, maybe you will, but certain little details, and you can go back and maybe you're thinking, oh, I don't really think I really noticed too much, but then you can go back and look in your notebook and say, hey, I don't have headaches every day anymore, or my digestion has improved, or I don't have the itchy skin I used to have, or something like that. So it's kind of just really a good self-help, and it helps you to see the progress that you're making. And then maybe it's something like, okay, I'm not making progress on this. Maybe you want to change directions and try it another way. So that's a suggestion for you. Let's see. Oh, another suggestion is to have fun with it. Don't be stressed out. It's an experiment, and be your own detective. Just kind of take your notebook and write down random thoughts about, I think it started around this time, and what time of life was that? Were you under a great amount of stress at that time? Was it a change of hormone time in your life? Were you exposed to some toxins at that time in your life? And that can kind of give you some ideas about things that you might want to try to counteract that. So just, don't get stressed out about it, but just take it as a trial and basis, and as a detective type work on your own self. All right. And don't be afraid to experiment and try different things. All right. So now we're going to do a Spooky 2 remote terrain detox. I'm going to show you how to go through that. So the first step is, after you have your software loaded, you're going to go to the presets tab. And this is what the presets tab is going to bring up. And you are going to click on detox. Okay. And then the next thing is, you're still in the presets tab. You're going to click on remote, because you're running a remote session. And then now you're still in the detox tab again. You're going to click on one of the detoxes. So this is the terrain. I know you can't see very well, but this is the terrain. There's a terrain mercury and a terrain nonviolent. So the terrain mercury does not have the mercury detox in it, and the terrain nonviolent does not have parasite. Just because if you're very sensitive to that and you need to not work with that for a while until your body is healthier and can handle that, you can do that. There's also a detox maintenance, which is a good detox, but it's just a little bit lighter of a detox. So I suggest to try the terrain. It's just such a good detox, but be your own guide once again, and then you'll click on that. Okay, so now we're going to run the terrain detox. So you're going to go to the control tab. You're going to click the generator overwrite. That's a little squared button here that I kind of cut off on my picture. Then you're going to click on the generator that you want to use. And then you're going to hit the start button right here. And then the generator that you chose will turn green. It's going to load up over here. When you click generator override, the terrain is going to come in over here. Then you're going to click start, and it's going to start. You'll see the time right here is going to start clicking away. And the detox for terrain will run. Another thing is to make sure your DNA sample is in the remote. Sometimes you can forget about that when you're just starting out, or anytime, honestly. Okay, so the detox will run for 11 days with these programs, and then repeat. So the first is remove metals, and then another day of remove metals. And then it's remove chemical materials, and then remove systemic toxins 1, remove systemic toxins 2, remove intestinal toxins, remove systemic toxins 3, parasite and liver function, kidney function 1, kidney function 2, cleanse blood. I always feel good during that time. So like I said, if you're having some things like, oh, I'm having some intestinal issues, you can look, oh, wow, I'm doing intestinal toxins right now. So it's just kind of interesting to keep track. Kidney and liver toxins, intestinal parasites, and then the last 2 are lymphatic system 1, lymphatic system 2. I really liked that it ends with lymph. I do lymph drainage as a bodywork type therapy, and the lymph is so important And to end with the lymph, I just think is so great. Like the lymph is our it's like our sewer system. It like takes the toxins and removes them from our body. And if your lymph is stagnant, you don't feel well. Like you just don't feel well. You feel toxic. You can be bloated. You can be puffy. The lymph is just so important. I think it's such an important thing that we don't give enough attention and credit to. And so ending with the lymph, I think, is just excellent to flush all that out that's been disrupted from your body and thrown into your exiting system, and let the lymph carry it out, and then cleansing the lymph out. So that's great. Lymph is your garbage transportator mechanism. So I love that that's in there. Now, that's the terrain. And as I said before, if you have, I'm going to go back just one thing. If you have symptoms that are not friendly and you feel like it's just too much, you can take some things. And I'm not going to tell you what to take. I'm not a herbalist or anything like that. You can do some investigating on that for yourself. I can tell you things that I take to help me get through those things, like activated charcoal or bentonite clay or drinking lemon water, or, skin brushing, or, there's a lot of things you can do to just help your body along. Vitamin C to help your body along. If you can't function, like it's just too much for you, you can pause and just give it a couple of days and drink a lot of water and let your system flush out. And then, just hit the pause button, and then you can, hit the pause button again and get it going again. So just know that you can do that. You don't have to start all over again. All right. So now we're gonna create a shell empty preset, and I just took an example of something, and so we'll go through that. So we're gonna go back to the presets again, and down towards the bottom, shell empty preset. You're gonna click on that, and then and we're back in presets. Still in presets. Now you're gonna click remote again, and we're still in presets, and you're gonna click. Well, I'm clicking killing because we're gonna work on a pathogen type of thing. So I just clicked, there's several to choose from. And I'm just telling you, I'm giving an example of clicking killing JW. It's John White, and it's, that it's a good one. And you can experiment around, and try different ones. I'm just giving this as a suggestion because it's probably the most common one to use for a killing. Then you can choose your topic. Now we're in programs, the program tab. So you can choose your topic. So I just am doing an example. I'm doing abscesses or abscess. So I put that into the topic line, and then you click the little search icon. And then on the next picture, the second picture here, it's going to bring up a whole list of programs that are associated with that issue that you can scroll through, and then you can choose what you're going to try. And once again, don't worry about what you try. Just try some things. Just, use your intuition, use your little detectiveness that's inside yourself, and try some things. For this example, I think I just picked out like abscesses 1, abscesses 2, abscesses 3 in there. So you double click on them, and then they'll go into the loaded program box down here, one at a time. All right. Now we're going to run the selected loaded programs. So now we're going to the control tab up there, and we're going to select a generator, and we're going to hit overwrite generator and select a generator. So now those are going to come onto this generator. Whatever was on there before is no longer on there. It's going to overwrite with these new frequencies. And then we'll click start. Now that generator will turn green box, and the programs will load and run. And it'll show you how much time it's going to take to run them up here. You can keep running them, keep repeating them, or you can run them once through. That's kind of up to you what you want to do. Okay, running a remote program for balance and energy. All right, so that is a shell. Now, you can choose so many different things. And there again, don't feel overwhelmed with trying to decide what to choose. Just try some things and make some notes in your notebook and break it apart. Like, I have all these symptoms. Maybe you want to, I suggest people do the terrain first. I'll tell you what I did. I actually, when I got it, I started working on some issues I had because I was kind of having a hard time. I have like a chronic pancreas liver thing from a old blockage that caused a lot of damage. So what I do is I started trying to deal with that right away because I was not feeling well. I was having, a lot of pain and stuff like that. So I think I picked things like biliary duct repair or something like that, and pancreas. And so I picked some specific programs to help with that at first. I did that for a little while, and then it did help. And so then I went back and I started with the terrain. And it is suggested to do the terrain first. So, and then after that, you can kind of think about what you have going on and, put it in order of most important to start working on first. And there you can go in and pick out what you think would be helpful for that. Because sometimes you take away some of those most prominent things and some of the other things kind of fall away. Now we're going to run I'm going to show you how running a remote program for balance and energy. There's a lot of different programs on the Spooky2 software for balance and energy. It's just really kind of fun to look through them when you have time. You can type in things such as energy. You can look at the Bach flower remedies. You can look at the essential oils. You can look at the chakras, the auras, the meridians. Just type in into the search engine box things that come into you as far as healing, and then you'll find whole bunch of different things to choose from. So I chose chakra balance as an example. So what you do is you go to the preset tab. We went to shell empty presets again. And then we're still in the presets tab. I hit remote. We're still in the presets tab. I hit the chakra balance, the 7 chakras. Or maybe, no, I didn't. I'm sorry. I can't see it very good. In the presets tab, this is the healing JW. And that is after remote, healing JW. Then I typed in chakra in the search engine, and then I hit the 7 chakras. So that's the program tab, 7 chakras. Double click, it goes down into the loaded programs down here. And then we go to control tab, click generate overwrite. Click on the generator you're going to use. Click on the start button, and you'll see this come up. So here it loads the frequencies. Here it shows you the 7 chakras. Here it shows you the time that how much time it's gonna run. And then it'll start running, and make sure your DNA is in the remote. I like doing that one, that feels good. See if I have anything else I wanna talk about with that. All right, the only thing that I wanted to mention was the importance of balancing energy. I think I mentioned this slightly before about, I think, even in my mindset, it's like you just want to kill these things and you just want to get them out of your body and you just want to detox and, kill things and detox. But balancing energy is an important part of your whole body system as well. So, many people choose to do different things for balancing energy. They meditate, they do Qigong, they do yoga. They do chanting, or there's so many different things you can do to balance your energy. It's an important part of, as well as your spiritual balance as well. It's all an important part of healing. They're all equally important. So taking a break and just like toning your chakras is just like a great thing for your cellular integrity of your body. And sometimes we just need to charge up a little bit before we have enough energy to detox some more or to kill some things some more. Okay, options and affordability. You can start out small and simple with 1 or 2 generators and remote. So you can start out small and just see if they work, if it works for you, if you think this is something that you're going to like to do, and get some results. And then you can always add on. That's what I did. I think when I started, I got 2 XM generators with remotes and boosts. And then I bought a Gen X after that, Generator X. And then I started adding on to my collection of XM generators. I just found it so effective. So I wanted to have, I have 1 generator that's donated just to doing terrain. And then I have one for my goats. I have one for my dog, my one dog, and I have one for my health condition that I work with all the time that I use just for that. You know, I have some for family members, and, you know, I have a couple extras I can use for a friend or whatever. Have one that I can put some healing work on and stuff. So they're always in use, you know. I just love it. I just wanted to mention again, the Generator X Pro is a new upgraded technology and version of the original Generator X. So I know my video had Generator X in it, but now if you purchase, you will be getting a Generator X Pro. It's just better. Okay, so you can find what works for you and for your needs. www.spooky2-mall.com. Browse and kind of decide what works for you. I am going to just say, just because this is something that I found, and if this helps you or not, the XM generators work great. I have a lot of them and everything. If you want to do biofeedback, if you can afford to, I suggest to do a Generator X because it's much faster for one thing. And if you have a low heart rate, I have a real low heart rate, and it was hard for me to do the biofeedback on the XM just because my heart rate was so low that it doesn't pick it up. You know, it's picks up your heart rate, and it didn't pick it up that well. So that's just personal experience if you're thinking about deciding between getting 2 XM generators or generator. Of course, there's always, you know, difference in price and everything, so it's totally up to you and what your preferences are. But they all have a good purpose.